Hi guys, it is early morning here in Los Angeles. Today I head back to Denmark and back to Athena. That's good news for those of you who like DIY content, because in a few minutes, as if by magic, I'm gonna be back aboard Athena, hard at work. I'm in the middle of packing my bag. When I come to see Ava, I don't check a bag because I've got clothes and stuff here, so I just have a little carry-on, and there's some stuff right down here I want to show you. To be more precise, these doohickeys we'll get back to a little later. What I wanted to show you is this. These are hearing protection doodads. They're made by Honeywell and they've got Bluetooth. For the past 3 years, I've been using regular old hearing protection and just stuffing my headphones inside of those to have music while working. But that gets kind of annoying with the cord there, and sometimes one of the ear doodads fall out of my ear, and it's not the greatest, but these should remedy all of that. In case I didn't mention it before, these are called Sync Wireless. They're made by Honeywell, and they've got a microphone right there for answering phone calls. I'm not going to be using that feature. To be honest, I'd rather not have the mic there, but I couldn't find any hearing protection with Bluetooth without a mic. And then there's some controls here on the other side. I'll show you guys how these work and give you my impression of them when I get back to Denmark. For now, they just go in the bag. Inside the box, it looks like there's also a charging cable and some kind of manual. I'll bring these back with me for a good measure. I just didn't want to attempt to cram this big box into my tiny bag, so this stays here. Whoops, it looks like I almost missed this little cable here. I better bring that back with me too. Like I said, we'll get back to these doodads a little later, but this one I am very, very excited about. So yeah, look forward to that. Noise cancelling headphones, passport, battery pack. I'll go from the top. Then there is the obligatory bag with medicine and stuff like that. Some snacks for the flight. These things are awesome. They're pretzel-y things with peanut butter in them, and some Reese's. Last thing to do is just to leave a little note for Ava. As you can see, I'll be back in 35 days for Christmas, so we're not going to be apart for that long. While I remember, I wanted to show you guys this. These are all envelopes that are going out to patrons filled with stickers. The big one there is the US, that's the UK, I think that's Denmark, and that might be Canada. But yeah, that's a lot of envelopes. The mind-boggling thing is that that's the second load of that size we've shipped out. So if you're a patron, thank you so much for your support. It means the world to me. But yeah, I hope all of you will enjoy your stickers. Even though it is only gonna be 35 days until I see Ava again, seeing goodbye is never fun. And when I sent her off to work this morning, I may have had a little bit of a very manly cry. But yeah, 35 days is not a long time. So let's get this rental back to the airport.
You are in 25-minute congestion on Interstate 405 South. You are still on the best route.
Oh, 25 minutes of traffic. Whoop whoop. Well, I've made it to the airport. Now there's just the small matter of the 17-hour grueling trip back to Denmark. And I don't want to leave. Not because I'm fond of LA, but because I don't want to leave Ava. Every fiber in my being wants to just be here with her, but I have to head back to Denmark. It is exactly 26 hours since I rolled out of bed in Los Angeles, and I can't sleep on planes, so I am pretty tired. But I've got Jurkul here, and the V-berth is all made up, so I think I'm gonna head to bed, and I'll see you guys aboard Athena tomorrow. It's Friday afternoon here in Denmark, but of course for me it feels like it's very early in the morning. In fact, this morning I woke up at 1 a.m. and I wasn't able to go back to sleep. The joys of jet lag. But fortunately, I've only got one little thing on my to-do list for today, so let's head up and take a look. The goal for this weekend is pretty simple, but at the same time, it's something I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I'm sure most of you have guessed it already. The goal for this weekend is to get the engine compartment painted, or at least to get 2 coats of primer on here and the first coat of top coat. If I'm able to get that out of the way this weekend, I should be able to apply the last few coats of top coat during the week, which means next weekend I can go ahead and install lights in here, maybe some soundproofing, and of course the new diesel tank. This is going to be a lot of fun. For me to be able to paint this weekend, there is, however, a little bit of fiberglass work I need to get out of the way. When I installed the aft support for the diesel tank, I missed these 2 little holes here I need to glass over. Those are holes from the old dynaplate that was used as a ground plane in the SSB installation. Fortunately, it is still warm enough for me to work with epoxy, so there's nothing to it but to do it. Oh, and you guys should have noticed a nice bump in both video quality and also sound quality now that I'm back to my GH4 and my wireless lavalier mic. As always, when fixing a hole in laminate, the first step is to grind a bevel into the old laminate so that I have something to tie the new laminate into. And for that, I'm going to be using Mr. Angle Grinder with some 36 grit paper. And the good thing about me having to use Mr. Angle Grinder today is the fact that I have the perfect excuse to test out my new hearing protection. In the interest of full disclosure, I've already tested these with my iPhone before leaving the US. There's no reason to lug these all the way back home to Denmark only to find out that they were defective. So let's go ahead and turn them on. And it looks like they're already connected. I'm going to be listening to an audiobook on Audible. It's called The Better Angels of Our Nature, but that's not sailing related. Now that I've got Audible open, let me just go ahead and recommend Alone Together by Christian Williams. He's a fellow sailor, and he's also got a YouTube channel, and on that channel there's a small preview of the book as well as some pretty cool videos, so I'll include a link for his channel. The circle I've drawn around each of the holes represents the outer diameter of the bevel. This one is going to be slightly on the small size. It's not going to be a full 1:12, but that's okay. I've got plenty of glass on the outside of the hull, so it'll be fine. I am reasonably happy with this first bevel, but as you saw, I wasn't able to get Mr. Angle Grinder into this tight area here. So for this, I'm gonna switch to using my Makita 9031. This thing is awesome for tight spots like this area here. Now it is a lot faster, and also you get a more uniform bevel by using Mr. Angle Grinder, but for a tight spot like this, the Makita 9031 is amazing. I have noticed something here that I want to take a closer look at. First up, it seems like there is some kind of a hole or indentation or whatever that's been faired here. I am not sure this goes all the way through the hull, but I'm still going to add a bit of glass on top of this. So I'll extend the bevel down this way, and then I noticed this. If I was to wager a guess, I'd say this damage here is from when they removed the old engine. It could be from some kind of oscillating multi-tool, but the thing is, this is actually kind of deep. So I want to get this ground out and lay up some new laminate. Okay, everything is nice and beveled. The next step is to cut some glass. Before I do that, let me just mention that I am thoroughly impressed with these things. They're pretty lightweight, they don't squeeze your ears, so they're very comfortable to wear. The fact that they're wireless is super convenient, and you've got the controls for controlling the track on your music or playing and pausing your audiobook, and also you can control the volume here. I wish I'd gotten these years and years ago. These would make the perfect gift for a DIY guy. I found these on Amazon for $83, which is astonishing considering the fact that here in Denmark, this particular model is over $200. So depending on where you're located, it's probably going to be cheaper for you to order these off of Amazon than buying them, at least here in Europe. So yeah, I'll include a link for these in the description. I've traced the outline of each of the beveled areas onto a piece of plastic so that I can use that as a template to cut the glass. I'm gonna lay up more glass than I actually need, because if I am to paint the engine compartment this weekend, I don't have time to mess around with fairing compound tomorrow. This should be just about perfect for the first hole. For epoxy, I am as always using West Systems 105, and in this case their 205 fast hardener, which is definitely required considering the temperatures here. Now, I've said it before and I will say it again, laying up laminate in cold temperatures is a pain in the behind because the viscosity of the epoxy is so high. But yeah, I just want to get this done. It would certainly make life a little bit easier to heat this area with a little space heater or preheat the epoxy in a little water bath. But I can't find my space heater, and nor can I find my little electric kettle. So yeah, we'll have to make do. When it comes to a repair like this one, it seems there are two schools of thought. Either you start with the biggest patch here on the bottom, or you start with the smallest patch. I think either one is fine. I just personally kind of like starting with the bigger patch. As I'm going along, I'm just checking to see if there are any high spots or any low spots I need to take into account, but so far this looks perfect. I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up, but this is very, very close to being completely flat. A bit of sanding tomorrow, and I shouldn't need to worry about fairing this. I've repeated the process for the second beveled area, and I've added peel ply on top of everything. As you can see, the color on the second area is a little bit different. I wasn't able to cut the glass quite precise enough to get a nice flat surface on the second area, so I just added a bit of thickened epoxy on top. That way I have something to sand away tomorrow. Yep, tomorrow it's time for prep work and then glorious primer. And of course, we also need to take a look at these doohickeys I brought back with me. So I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Good morning, guys. It is a cold and windy Saturday morning. I managed to sleep all the way through the night, which is awesome, but I still feel a little bit dazed, and it's very cold over here compared to sunny, warm LA. So enough yammering on, let's go ahead and get started on the prep work. Yep, the repair from yesterday seemed to have cured nicely. The prep work on today's to-do list consists of sanding the repair from yesterday nice and flush, and also just trimming the little bit of excess fiberglass on the aft support for the diesel tank. Of course, I used peel ply on the aft support, so I don't really need to do a lot of sanding, but I would still like to just round over the edges here so there are no pokey bits. In case I ever need to reach in underneath the diesel tank, there's now nothing here I can cut myself on. That's certainly a big plus. There is a little bit of excess epoxy here that's built up kind of a lip, and I want to sand that away to have a nice smooth surface that's easy to keep clean. It shouldn't take long, and with my new favorite safety related item aboard, it should be a complete pleasure. Everything is nice and sanded, and I've even sanded the bottom of the cockpit sole. I haven't sanded the entire bottom of the cockpit sole, just the areas where there was hardware mounted previously. I figured now that I'm going to be painting, I might as well paint those areas too. Thankfully, I took care of the majority of the prep work in the engine compartment last winter, so all I had to do was just to wipe everything down real quick and apply a bit of masking tape. Most importantly here on the engine mount, where the sail drive sits and also where the engine itself sits, there's a bunch of little threaded holes, and I don't want to clog those up with paint. If you've watched any of the videos where I paint, I'm sure you've guessed what primer I'm going to be using. It is of course Sigma Cover 280. I've already gone ahead and marked my little 1:4 ratio on the stir stick, so let's go ahead and get some paint mixed up. And that is the first coat of primer applied. In about 8 hours, I'll be able to apply the second coat. Because of the lovely fumes from the paint, I am gonna vacate the premises for the next 8 hours or so. I'll come back tonight and I'll apply that second coat of primer off camera. Good morning, guys. Sunday is here. Now, who's ready to get some Sigma Duo 550 on the bottom of the engine compartment? I know I am. Let's head up and get started. Actually, before I paint, let's just take a real quick look at the two exciting doohickeys. That way, as soon as I'm done painting, I can get out of here instead of hanging around in all the fumes. Let's start with the least exciting one, which is this one. This is an LED light. It's 700 lumens, and you guys have actually already seen one of these before. It is this one, because I brought this one back about a year ago. These are intended to be mounted in the engine compartment. I just wasn't sure one was enough, so I decided to pick up 2 more. Like I mentioned, these are 700 lumens, so 3 of these would be a ton of light in my tiny engine compartment. They are fully potted here on the back. They're IP65 rated, and they are somewhat expensive, but I'll include a link in the description for these lights. And that brings us to the most exciting doohickey, and that's this one. This is manufactured by a very cool little company called Yacht Devices that manufacture a lot of NMEA 2000 devices, and this is an engine gateway. You might be wondering, what the heck is an engine gateway? And that's a very good question. So this thing will take data from your engine, provided you have a compatible engine of course, and provide that data on your NMEA 2000 network. Now, what kind of data could that be? It could be stuff like RPM, engine faults, different kind of temperatures, fuel consumption, a long list of exciting stuff. I'll include a link for this in the description, but let's go ahead and open it and take a real quick look at what's inside of the box. This is it. This is the entire engine gateway. They've got 2 different versions of this device, as well as some different configurations with different adapters for connecting to the engine. The one I've got here is the one that's made for Volvo Penta engines, amongst others, because that's what I've got here about Athena. I think I paid around $190 for this little doodad, and that's certainly a bit of money, but considering what it does and the fact that it's NMEA 2000, I think it's very affordable. The company Yacht Devices have been around for a few years now, and they've managed to produce a good number of little exciting devices that are not terribly expensive. And I think we can all agree that the marine industry could really use a bit of innovation from smaller startup type companies. We'll get back to this little guy as soon as I've got the engine installed and all hooked up. This should be very exciting. Yeah, but I'll include a link for Yacht Devices website down in the description, and if you guys are into little NMEA 2000 doohickeys, you should definitely go check out their website. Now let's get to the painting. Yep, this should be good to go. Let's go ahead and get some paint mixed up. The ratio on Sigma Duo 550 is 88:12, which I've marked out on my little stir stick. I really should get myself some bigger mixing cups. That would make life a lot easier. Now, just to warn everyone, I fully expect this first coat to look pretty horrible because the primer is going to shine through. And that's the first coat of Sigma Duo 550 in the bottom of the engine compartment. Like I said, the primer is still kind of shining through, but that's okay. Another few coats should fix that. Like I mentioned earlier, next weekend I'm going to continue working on the engine compartment. Hopefully next weekend I'll be able to put the diesel tank in there, get some sound insulation put up, and we can figure out what to do with those new LED lights. But speaking of the sound insulation, I don't know how many of the surfaces in there I should cover in the stuff. I'm thinking maybe just the sides of the engine compartment and not the bottom of the cockpit sole. That's the way the engine compartment was soundproofed when I got Athena, and I mean the engine is pretty quiet, so I don't think I need a lot. Maybe I don't even need to put up sound insulation, but yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. As far as this video, I think this is gonna be it. I am still pretty jet lagged and I feel like I'm getting a little sick, and it's a big mess. But yeah, I will see you guys next weekend for some more DIY fun. As always, feel free to leave a comment down below, and don't forget, if you've enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like. See you!